Oh, good morning. It's been a couple days. I had planned on going live yesterday, and it's just been a crazy couple of days. I didn't want you guys to think that I wasn't going to go live. I know I did go live. I just didn't talk about like my book. We are going to talk about the book today. I'm just going to get a drink of coffee. So you ever have like these times where like you are busy as heck, you feel like you're working like crazy, but then like nothing is like really happening? It's like you're working like crazy, you're doing a lot, but then it's not like really like nothing's happening, It's like you're trying to do a lot of things, you're doing a lot of things, but then nothing is being accomplished. That's kind of like where I'm at right now. It's a little bit frustrating. It's a little bit like tiring. It's like you get exhausted after like so many times of trying to do something, and then it's like you look around and you got tons of shit still to do, but then like you have no time to do any of it because you're doing all kinds of stuff that isn't really getting done. I don't know. I'm just in this very weird like transitional place in my life, and it's exhausting. But we're here. We are like getting our stuff done. We're moving along one day at a time. So I'm going to jump back into my books. I'm going to try not to make this too long, because I know like some of my videos are like 25 minutes. One was like 37 minutes. So it's like, I know I could be a talker. So let's jump in. Last week we talked about, I just want to go back and remind us. Like forgiving your past and working through like old baggage that you're holding. Leave your baggage behind, right? So this next one, this one's a good one. This one is one that I feel like I often talk about all the time. And I think it's important because I feel like nobody ever does it, It's called owning your faults and weaknesses. This is a biggie for me. It's honestly a pet peeve of mine when people don't own up to their own crap, Sorry, my phone is like, I'm trying to fix my phone. It's a pet peeve of mine when people don't own up to their own like faults, and then they go around like blaming everybody else for their problems. And I mean, sometimes maybe I could do it, but it's like, if you do see me doing it, please, God, let me know. I am fully open to some constructive criticism, not in a mean way, because I will check you, but in a kind, loving way. Like if you see me like being a biatch, and I don't really need to be a biatch, like say, hey, Leanne, you're kind of being a little bit of a biatch right now. I want to let you know, like, that this is how I think I see something, and then yada yada. So I think it's important to like own your shit, man. Own your shit. As I talk about Jesus, I'm saying shit. All right. Well, anyway, I'm a human being. All of us played the blame game. We inherited this fault from Adam, who pointed the finger of blame at Eve, who in turn blamed the devil for eating the apple. Our fifth principle for finding God's way is that you take responsibility for your life, own up to your own faults, and accept blame where it is justified. This principle means that your life, the buck stops here with you. Whatever you need in life, whatever you desire to happen, or whatever problem you try to solve, you are responsible for it. You're responsible for it. It's your job to call on God to make a way where you need a way. It's your job to do what he gives you to do. Now, that's another thing. When he tells you to do something, or if he sends someone along the way to tell you or give you an idea of something to do, and you don't do it, whose fault is that? Where did I go? Oh, and it's your job to accept the blame when you fail. Failure's hard, man. Failure is hard, especially when you've been trying so hard. But you know what, though, too? Sometimes we think that we've failed, but the job actually isn't done yet. Actually, that was for myself. That was for me. Yep. But I think it's important. It's like if you're walking around like a failure, like, oh, poor me, I suck, might as well go jump off a cliff and eat some worms, then it's like, yeah, maybe things don't look good right now, but is it over? Are you done with that? Like, has it been finished? If it's not finished, then it ain't done. And, if you're not at peace with it, then it's not done. You know what I mean? Ooh. See? Sometimes you could read in between the lines here. Now that God has saved you, it is your responsibility to live a life which reflects Him and His principles. God is there with you, empowering you to do what achieves His ends. That's the thing that I think a lot of us just like miss the point on, because it's like, we are here on this earth for like just a short period of time. I mean, yeah, 80 years, that feels like a long time, but is it really though? Because it's like I've been here for like almost 35 years now, and I feel like, where the hell did all the time go? Like yesterday I was like graduating high school, and now I have 4 kids, 3 businesses, a husband, all this crazy stuff I got to do. I got a dog, I got a messy house I got to clean every 5 minutes. It's like, oh, I'm drinking out of Avery's Star Wars cup today. I do love mugs. A good mug is always very important. You should have a good mug. You should have a mug that's a conversation piece. Anyway, God's always there with you. God is always there with you. And it's just like, it's your job to like, be like, hey, can I have some help? You know what I mean? Oh, you know what? I'll give an example of this the other day, because I was really kind of upset with it. The other day, or actually yesterday, Avery comes up to me and was talking about how he had a tick on his armpit, and how I'm always telling him to check for ticks and, to make sure to see if they have ticks. And so apparently he had a tick like on his armpit, like right in here, and he found it while he was showering, and he ripped it off. He ripped it off by himself and didn't even tell me about it. And then he told me about it yesterday. I guess this happened like a couple days ago. And then he tells me about it yesterday. I'm freaking out, and I'm explaining to him like, yeah, I'm telling you to look for ticks so that you can tell me about it, not go ripping them off all on your own. And I explained to him that, like, you have to like get them out like a special kind of way, because you're leaving the head like in the skin. Like, you basically just decapitated the guy, and now his head's like swirling around all up in your blood, like getting you all infested, So then he was ready to cry, and he was upset. And it's like, I wasn't yelling at him, but he was scared that he was going to die of Lyme disease. And, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, if you got a tick, tell your mom and dad so they can help you get it off, in the right way. It's like, if you don't know about something that you're going through, why don't you like ask somebody? Like, God is the first person you should be asking in any kind of problem that you have. It's like, hey, God, there's this insane thing that's going on, and I know that it's not right. I know it's a little bit off, or this situation's not right, but I don't know about it. I know that it's not right, but I don't know why it's not right, and I don't know how to deal with it. You ask God and give him a minute, It's like, I know kids ask me stuff all the time, and it's like, okay, well, either I don't know, I need to look it up, or maybe I'm in the middle of like going to the bathroom, and it's like, I'll take care of it when I'm done going to the bathroom. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't always necessarily going to happen. It's not always necessarily going to happen like right as soon as you ask, but just like notice that there's a problem, ask for help if you don't know what to do about it, and then like give it a second and then things will happen. So anyway, yeah, I was like, so now we're watching this area to make sure that it doesn't turn into something crazy. But if he had told us about the problem, the tick, and then like said, hey, what do I do with this freaking tick? Then me and Josh would have like removed it in the proper way and everything would have been fine. But it is what it is. You live, you learn. And now he knows that in the future, if he has a tick, we have to like remove it in the proper way. Yeah. Some of the problems we face are not of our own doing. We are innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire. Unfortunately, this is one of the tragic realities of living in a fallen world, and sometimes we have to take responsibility for situations that are not our fault. I feel like my life has been a lot like that. But again, too, whenever there are situations that are crazy, I always try to like pick apart like what I did, figure out how I could have fixed it or how I could have done things better. You know, I'm a big person, again, at owning up your shit. And I think that, you know, there's always like little things that we could have done wrong. Or even honestly, there's situations that I was in where I was definitely like a victim of. But who put me in that situation to begin with? Who took me to that place? Or who led me into that, like, near those people? Or who, you know what I mean? Like, who ultimately made the decision to get me where I was in order to become a victim? That's an important thing. It's like, you know what? Sometimes we put ourselves in situations. Now, I'm not saying that the person who's doing anything bad to you, it like shouldn't be at fault or held accountable for bad stuff. But it's like, why was I there? You know what I mean? Why was I even there to begin with? I don't know. Shouldn't have been there. So sometimes your decisions can actually like cause you to be a victim in a situation. But again, it's, you know, we all shouldn't be like sitting here like, you know, looking around and then rolling over and not caring, not paying attention, not doing things that could get you out of those bad situations. You know, we like, even if you literally did nothing wrong at all and you didn't put yourself in a bad situation, it was just like the bad situation just found you in a normal place in a normal time and it happened to you. It's like, are you going to let that thing define your life? Like this is who I am now. This terrible thing happened to me and this is just who I am. And I think that is like super like important to remember, because it's like what you're doing is like you're actually allowing that to be part of you. You know what I mean? I think processing through it and letting it go is the best way that you can actually physically let that thing go and not let it control your life for the next 30 years. Bad things happen to everybody, you know, whether they talk about it or not. Bad things happen to everybody, and doesn't mean that you deserved it. But sometimes it tells a lot about your character, about how you take those bad things and then you survive them and you come out on top better. Not better because of them, but better because of how you dealt with them. Everybody, and I think I need to reiterate this. I need to like say this again. Every person that you see, that you talk to, that you look at, that you know, every person has gone through some kind of traumatic situation, some kind of situation where they have been a victim of, or they have, you know, been treated unfairly, or like they're like, everybody has a story is what I'm trying to say. And like, we walk around blaming this guy, blaming that guy, blaming everybody else for all our problems, when the other guy's over here saying like, listen, I got all my own shit I got going on. It's like, I can't, you know, be the guy that's, you know, the problem in your life. And sometimes people who are, like, they always say, hurt people hurt people. So it's like, you know what? Sometimes the person that's hurting you the most is somebody who has also been hurt. Now, again, I am not going around saying like, oh, well, we should just be nice and it's all fine if someone like seriously like hurts us or abuses us. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's like, you know, we got to figure out how to get ourselves out of a situation and then also take responsibility for the fact that we were in the situation and who we're going to be after that situation. You know, that's all I'm saying. Determining who is at fault in your situation isn't nearly as important as determining who will do something about it. I am always the person who ends up doing something about it. If I'm wrong, I will say sorry. If I see this situation just continually happening over and over again, it's like, okay, we're done here. We're done doing this. Let's figure it out. Like I'm very like cut and dry. I'm very much a red personality. I am very much like a person who is like, okay, let's figure it out. Like, why are we going to sit here? Like when I was, younger, I knew this, older lady. She was like friends with my mom. Not old, but older than me. And, it was in Al-Anon, and she would always say, sit in shit or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? And then that's always stuck with me because it's like, oh yeah, just like, if you want to sit in shit, go ahead, stay there. Or you can wipe your ass, get off the pot, and go on about your day, you know? I don't know. I'm just a very hard person sometimes. So it's like, yeah, bad things could be happening to you. Somebody, like, you could have, like, somebody literally throwing shit on you, but it's like, who's going to be the guy that's going to clean it off? That guy ain't going to clean it off. You know what I mean? You got to get out of the way and go wash yourself off. All the things, like, it's basically saying that, like, who's to blame, if you're fully to blame, if you're not fully to blame, if, you know, if there's partial blame here and there, it's like, none of that matters. What matters is taking ownership through God's strength and wisdom to do something about it. As you do, God will make a way. It's like, there's always going to be a problem. There's always going to be a person who caused the problem, whether it's you or somebody else. But it's like the real thing that matters is not who caused the problem. It's who fixes it. You know what I mean? Like the Bible even says, like, blessed be the peacemakers. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're a person who's going around just like stirring up shit, which sometimes I very well can be the shit stirrer, not necessarily in drama, but it's just like, it's like if I see something, I say something, you know what I mean? And I'm always quick to call something out. I try to be nice and I try to be like the kind person and the one who does all the good stuff, but it's like, I'm not always that, you know? But it's like, I'm always there trying to solve problems and fix things for people and myself. The reverse side of assigning blame is actually taking ownership. So yes, you could have done something bad or somebody could have done something bad to you. But at the end of the day, it's just like, you know what? This bad thing happened to me. I'm just going to take ownership of it and I'm going to move on, because otherwise you're going to sit there and you're going to let that thing just sit on you like a red A, or, you know what I mean? Like scarlet letter of insanity. And you're just going to keep going. And then you're going to base every decision from that moment on because of that one thing that happened to you. You can't punish everybody else in your life for something that somebody else did to you 10 years ago. When we take ownership for what happens in our lives, we are empowered to make changes, and it frees us to do something. And it also provides freedom. You are no longer a slave to the past, to false hope, to wishing someone else would change, or to discouragement and passivity. Actually, owning a bad thing in your life, it's not about like taking the blame on yourself and having a pity party. It's about being like, okay, this terrible thing happened. Let's move on. Let's get out of Dodge. Let's get out of this specific situation and go forward. It's freeing. That's an empowering thing. You know, you have to first acknowledge where you were at and then figure out how we can fix it. We become a nation and a society of people who just waits around for somebody to just come save us. You know, we were all kids, like watching Disney shows and, you know, thinking that like, oh, Prince Charming is just going to come right into that window and just come save the day. And it's like, that's not always the case. And it's very rare that that is the case. You know what I mean? But, you know, God will save you. God will save you in situations, but sometimes he also wants to see you take action and try to save yourself a little bit too. There are always things you can do. It's just like sometimes you're not seeing it. Here are a number of areas where you can begin taking responsibility for your life. 1, your own happiness. Ask God to help you take ownership for whatever pain or discomfort you're experiencing. Then ask him to help you find relief. This is a big one. If you are unhappy in your life, it is nobody else's responsibility or problem to make you happy. Happy is a fleeting emotion. Happiness comes from like immediate things that are just happening in that moment. Like, oh, wow, I just got a present for my birthday. That makes me happy. Joy, though, that is something that radiates from the inside. Being a joyful person in general, that's a general feeling of happiness all the time where you find joy even in bad things or in irritating circumstances. Happiness is not anybody else's responsibility. That is yours. You have the ability to decide how you want to perceive things. If someone says something bad about you, you could take that even as a compliment. Like, wow, this person's talking about me. That's so great. You know, I actually do that a lot. It is frustrating when people talk crap about me. But you know what? If someone's not talking about you, you're not successful. You know, that's the first sign of success when you got haters. Haters are actually fuel because haters make you like want to do better so much more just so you could show them that you're not what they say that you are. Specific issues. Determine the root cause of your problem. Is it a relationship disconnect, a faith journey, a job issue, or a habit that won't go away? I mean, you know, for me, I will be honest, for me, because like, you know, marijuana has become legalized, you know, for me, for the longest time, that was like something that it was like, I thought that it was helping me sleep. I thought that it was like helping to relieve my anxiety. I thought that it was helping to relieve depression because you know, that's what they say, right? Well, my head was so jumbled up and so backwards and so anxious all the time. It has been so, like I have terrible, I like have a terrible time falling asleep at night. And even when I was doing that at nighttime, like it still wasn't really helping. I was still up until like 1, 2 o'clock in the freaking morning. So at the end of the day, it's like, was that stuff really helping me? No. In fact, it was making me so anxious that even like the next day when I wasn't even feeling the residual results of that, I was still waking up like in a fog. I was worried about like things that hadn't even happened yet. I was in a perpetual depression. And you know what? I realized that it's like I was doing this to myself. Ever since I have stopped, I'm literally completely straight edge. The most insanity that I do is this coffee right here. I'll have a couple drinks here and there when we go to dinner. But Josh and I don't drink. We don't smoke any of the hard stuff. I mean, he smokes cigarettes like a stack, but you know, that's part of his charm. But like, you know, there could be a habit that you are actually doing to yourself that is creating and perpetualizing these problems in your life. And that's exactly what was happening to me. The moment that I decided, because I prayed about it, I said, Lord, I think that this is a problem, because he was starting to kind of convict me about it a little bit. Just because something is legal does not mean that it's just okay to just do it all the time. If it's becoming a problem in your life and you're doing it all the time to try to solve other problems, that's a problem. That's a problem, okay? If you need something Now, I'm not talking about medication if you have cancer, or I'm not talking about like diabetic medication. I am not talking about that. I'm talking about self-medication. I'm talking about things that you are doing that are unhealthy to numb yourself or cope with problems around you that you are failing to recognize or deal with. That's what I'm talking about. So don't twist my words on that, because I'm not telling you to go and stop your diabetic medication. I'm not doing that. What I am saying, though, is that if you are diabetic, maybe you should eat a little bit better, you know? And I could speak on that. I'm not diabetic, but it's like, you know what? I'm a chubby girl, and I always have been. And you know what? I've been taking responsibility, except for that candy corn that I ate the other day, and the whipped cream that I always like to put on there. But actually, whipped cream isn't too bad. But it's like, take responsibility for your problems, and then, like, you know, go on from there. Find the issue that is created. And that was actually another thing too. Marijuana actually stifles, or it doesn't stifle, it brings about like a hunger. Like they always say, like the munchies. Okay. Why do you think I'm like at 1 o'clock in the morning eating like all kinds of treats, getting fat as hell? You know what I mean? So my main problems were anxiety, depression, apathy, like not wanting to do anything, and then eating the shit out of everything. Those are like telltale symptoms right there of smoking marijuana all the time. You know what I'm saying? I stopped doing it, and guess what? Let me tell you one thing. I have never felt better. I've never been more clear in the mind. I've never had more energy. I've never had more, and I mean, I've been doing that for years. You know what I mean? Just because something is legal does not mean that it's something that you should be doing all the time. And I'll speak on it. I will speak on it. I will be the guy that says that, because they can say all day long, oh, it helps with anxiety. Maybe for some people, but 9 times out of 10, it's recreational. You're doing it to get all high for a moment, and then you go on about your day, and then you have all these problems, and then you think it's something else, and it's not. Just so you know, I'll be the guy that says it. Needed resources. Let's move on. Needed resources. You must lead the way in digging up the resources you need to solve your problem. Gather all the help, support, comfort, and advice you can find. Call around and find people who have answers and encouragement. We've already talked about this in like previous like principles. So I don't think we need to like go too deep in that. There are resources everywhere. If you're a person who's too proud to reach outside of yourself to like find what you need, then that is like silliness, you know, like you're just allowing yourself, again, sit in shit or get off the pot. You know what I mean? If you're desperate enough for help, reach outside of yourself and find it. Weakness and obstacles. Identify the areas where you don't have the strength you need to meet the challenge, then begin to develop those areas. I mean, everybody has strengths and weaknesses. I think maybe honestly, like, why don't you like get a piece of paper and start writing, like literally like make like a little kid like thing, you know, line and then another line, strengths, weaknesses, and then start writing the different things. Like, what are you good at? You are good at stuff. Everybody says, I'm not good at anything. It's like, yes, you are. And you know it. You just want to like have a pity party. Stop. Write the things that you're actually good at. Write the things that you like. You know, put that on your strengths, on your weaknesses. Are you somebody who's late all the time? Ask my husband. I'm late for everything. Try not to be late. Do better. I have been trying to do better at not being late. You know, there's always things that you can do better. You just got to like look around and see where the struggle is and find it. Accountability. Again, I'm fiery today because this is something I'm super fiery about. Accountability. Submit yourself to a few people who will help you on task with your project of resolving a relationship issue, losing weight, finding a career. Like, if you're trying to lose weight, why don't you go to a dietitian? Why don't you go to a fitness instructor? If you are having a relationship issue, guess what? Go to marriage counseling. It's okay. People do that all the time. You can go to marriage counseling. It doesn't mean that your marriage is over. In fact, it means that somebody in their marriage cares enough to seek that kind of help that you don't want it to go bad. Finding a career. I mean, my God, like, write down the things that you like, write the things that you don't like, and ask ChatGPT to tell you what career would be good for you. You know what I mean? Like, there's resources. It's 2025. Come on. Support team. Again, we've talked about this. I'm not going to go too far into that. Find your people, man. I saw a post the other day, and absolutely not dogging on her, not at all. Like, you know, in fact, I think it was brave that she even said it, but she said, you know what? I'm beginning to think I don't belong anywhere. And it's like, no, you definitely belong somewhere. You just haven't found your people yet. You got to find your people. Like, keep looking around. Stop hanging around with the same people you've been hanging around with that don't, clearly care about you, or maybe you're not important to them. And like, continue to find your people. Go to a luncheon or something that is about like something specific. You know, like my son Bert, like he loves Magic the Gathering cards. You know, it's like, I bet he would find a lot of friends going to a Magic, like a comic store, like doing like Magic the Gathering stuff. You know what I mean? He loves anime. Hey, why don't you go to an anime group? There's tons of stuff around here. So find your people, man. You can take the first steps in finding your people and finding where you belong. Lastly, it says 1 day at a time. This has been something that, I've learned ever since I was little, in Al-Anon and Alateen and stuff. It's like 1 day at a time. Sometimes it's literally one moment at a time. Like, I have lived like in situations where it's like moment by moment, like one moment, everything's okay. And the next moment, like shit's hitting the fan and it's like, okay, I just got to survive this one moment. And, you just got to address the issues of today rather than obsessing about yesterday or hoping for rescue tomorrow. People who take charge of their lives now, of their lives, know how to live in the present because it's all they have to work with. That hits the nail on the head right there. There's nothing more I can really say about that. 1 day at a time, one moment at a time. Then it goes on to talk about like a specific example about somebody's marriage, and finally, like, they were both mad at each other, and finally she, like, the wife actually took the step to pray and figure things out. And it says she prayed and simply asked God for help. Nothing happened right away. She kept praying and trusting and listening for God's direction. It was as if God was allowing her time to deeply own her plea and her heart's desires. Sometimes God, like, doesn't answer your prayers right away. Not because he doesn't want to answer your prayers right away, but maybe there's some kind of like, maybe there's some kind of nugget of information or like knowledge, or sometimes I hate video games, but sometimes I will compare like life to video games, because it's like in a video game, like there are little, like secret rooms that you can go into that like aren't necessarily part of the actual storyline, but it's like you can find like these weird little like extra bonuses that you walk into, and then it's like, oh wow, now I found this like little weapon that like nobody is so rare. Nobody else can find this weapon because nobody knows about it. So I'm going to keep it secret. You know what I mean? Like, it's not part of the game. So what I'm trying to say is like, there are situations in your life that you can go into that's like a secret little nugget. It might not be the exact, part of your storyline, but it's like a little thing that you can find and learn. Then you go in there, and then now you have this cool thing that's pretty rare that other people don't freaking have, and then you could use that to get through the rest of your story, your game. You know what I mean? And then everybody walks up to you and they're like, oh my God, where did you get that thing? Or how did you do that? Or how, like, oh God, you're so strong. You're so strong. It's like, yeah, you know why? Because I went into that room, fought all these monkeys, and almost got the shit kicked out of me. And now here I am, you know, like with this cool thing. And so, you know what I mean? It's like, God wants you to kind of like go through little things so that you can learn, and it can change your heart, and it can change your perception. And, you know, he wants you to know exactly what you're praying for. So then it continues to go on about like, you know, that their situation and that specific thing in their marriage. And, it ended up showing that she, like, you know, if two people are going to sit here and blame each other back and forth, at one point, at one point, there has to be one person that's like, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to chill. I'm going to disarm so that whenever like the spears are coming, it's like, you know what? They can't hurt me. Kind of like sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. It's like they can't hurt you if you don't let them hurt you. Disarm yourself. Take the offense away. It's like, you know what? If me and Josh are fighting with each other, we almost kind of made it like a flirting situation or like a joke, you know? It's like if he's like in a bad mood or if I'm in a bad mood and we're like bickering and acting like asses to each other, it's like we'll look at each other and be like, well, you're just being an ass right now. So, I'll talk to you in a few minutes, you know, and like, we just kind of like make it a joke. And then when we say that to the other one, then it's like, we're like, okay, I am being a little bit of an ass right now. And so it becomes fun at that point. And so like, we don't like, I mean, we'll bicker, you know, but it's like, we don't really like fight that much anymore, you know? And so it goes on to like talk about that whole situation. And it just says, we cannot predict what God's way will be. His plan and purpose for us cannot be reduced to a formula. The way he makes for us is his way, not ours. Our role is to seek him, take charge of our own circumstances, and trust him to do what only he can do. If God is like leading you into a situation or he's like kind of nudging you in your spirit to do something that seems freaking crazy, because believe me, he's doing that with me right now. And everyone around me is like, oh my God, Leanne's crazy. And it's like, you know what? Maybe I am, but so was Noah. So was Noah, and so was Moses, and so was Peter, you know, so was Jesus. You know, everybody's crazy. Abraham, well, he was a nut job too, you know, until he wasn't, okay? And all God wants you to do is say yes and follow his lead. I mean, even Jesus said, drop everything and follow me, you know? And it's like, you don't know, like every single problem that you have in your life could be solved by one simple yes. One simple, like, disarmament of your own, like, anger and your own feelings. So take ownership of the things that are happening around you, the things that you're physically doing. Do some self-awareness assessments and figure it out. Like, there's a lot that can be done. Everything is figure outable. My mother-in-law actually gave me a little sign up there that says it. I'm not going to show it to you because there's dust up there, and I'm not going to show it to you. But it's true. Everything is figure outable. Everything has a way out. We just don't know it yet. So I know I've talked forever. I already said I wasn't going to, and here I am, but that's okay. It's morning coffee with Leanne. So let's have a great day. Let's take accountability for things that are going on, and let's make things better. I love you guys. I will talk to you again. Have a fantastic day.